they won't stop. Officials, political officials, will not stop blaming COVID for almost every ailment. Most recently, it is a big ailment. It is shootings in many cities. COVID infections never interrupted our commerce. COVID infections didn't interrupt our kids' education. COVID infections didn't interrupt our religious attendance. COVID infections didn't interrupt our entertainment, our gatherings at restaurants, our gatherings with family, our going to the movies. COVID reactions did. And they did all of these. And the reactions were by political officials. The reactions of individuals in the early days of 2020 were very reasonable and didn't command anything of others. We protected vulnerable people. We knew that those 85 and older had a bigger chance of succumbing, and we kept them out of harm's way. We didn't need the government to be forcing stuff on us because people have common sense. More common sense than the average government official. And I say that because average officials are besieged by other influences that are not necessarily good. How do we know that it was reactions to the disease and not the disease so much itself? Because the disease as of today, May 2022, hasn't been wiped out. Yet we generally, unless you're in government employment, go about our lives as if it were 2019. Do you remember 15 days to slow the spread, or 15 days to flatten the curve on hospitals that might get overwhelmed? Okay, that was 800 days ago. Almost every instance of official interference with our lives, have you noticed, has come with elites gaining and the rest of us losing ground. Every government action had beneficiaries, and they tended to be those who were already in government or well tied to the benefits of government. And now we have a blame of, in Hartford's case, shootings based on COVID. No, it was not the disease, but officials who closed courts, who reduced parole officers' time, who in some cases reduced police enforcement. That's not on COVID. That's on humans in power with too much power, and we've permitted it. So how do we recover? Not from the disease, we're pretty much doing that. How do we recover our political norms? Well, here's part of the solution. Let defenders of government action shut up and get back to normal. Normal is not a United States president demanding that people get vaccinated against their will. Normal is not firing workers who don't want to don worthless masks. Normal is not wearing a mask to just virtue signal. It's theater. And then taking it off at unguarded moments. Many officials have been caught doing that. Officials in power, and in cities that's almost all Democrats, they've shown themselves as not normal. Please show it for what it is, a class of governing people that want to keep power over us and use COVID as an excuse for almost anything. Excuse in the past, oh, here's why things are bad. Excuse in the present, an excuse for future restrictions on our freedom. We do well with our common sense. Our normal might shift slightly as reactions, but not because of government pronouncements. It's because we can read just as well. We can decide for ourselves just as well, and almost certainly better than when officials try to commandeer things upon us. I'm Mark Stewart.